Hello and welcome to another episode of the SMEFocus show powered by MTDCNC. I'm your host, Chris Greenough, and in this series we focus on SMEs within the British manufacturing sector and indeed those stars of the sector. Every week we discuss and analyse the challenges and opportunities facing the sector in these unprecedented times. I've worked in the sector for over 29 years and I'm CCO at SGE Technology, one of the leading manufacturers of pressings and assemblies in the UK. So hopefully you can appreciate this show is very much for manufacturers and indeed by manufacturers. Now, we've got a celebration this week, a bit of a milestone. This is the 200th episode of this show. So thank you for your continued support and thank you for watching. And to mark this, I've got a very special guest today, Jean-Marc Gales, who is the CEO at Wrightbus. Jean-Marc, hello and welcome.
Hello and welcome, and thanks for the kind introduction, Christoph.
You're welcome. Yeah, well, we needed to mark this show with someone who is at the very forefront of manufacturing in the UK. So tell me about Wrightbus and your role within the business.
Well, Wrightbus is a world-leading bus manufacturer, and we specialize in the production of zero-emission battery and hydrogen fuel cell vehicles. And I bet most of the people listening to us have seen our electric double-decker buses in London. Yeah.
Yes.
And please have a look at the logo. It's normally a Wrightbus. We have sold this year in the UK more buses than any other manufacturer. And we have been recognized as the fastest growing manufacturing company in the UK, large manufacturing company in the UK, and the fastest growing bus maker in Europe. And my role as the CEO is to oversee the growth and our global expansion in markets like Europe or Asia, using the technical expertise that we have developed in this company over decades. Incidentally, our headcount grew from 800 people about a year and a half ago to 2,000 right now. So we also are growing highly skilled green jobs in Ballymena and in England. And my job is also looking at other opportunities for such as the recently launched new power business, where we basically take out of a bus that is 5 to 9 years old, we take a diesel engine out and we put an electrical powertrain in, which prolongs the life of the bus and helps operators decarbonize at a fraction of the cost of a new bus.
Fantastic. And Wrightbus has contributed, I've read this because I've done some research, more than 1.5 billion to the UK economy. Now we've got a new government in place. We're not going to get too political, but what support would you like to see for the manufacturing sector from the new government?
I believe manufacturing, Christopher, is a fundamental sector. Yeah, and I don't believe that any economy can grow without a competitive manufacturing sector in its economy. And for the bus industry and the sector now specifically, the Zebra schemes that we had in the last parliament was important, as it allowed local authorities to introduce new zero-emission buses into their communities. However, unfortunately, we are concerned that 45% of the funding has gone to non-UK manufacturers. So maybe the criteria should be sharpened a bit next time. Because looking ahead, and we are discussing with the new Labour team, we want to see Zebra continue across the next parliament with the objective of supporting 10,000 buses by 2030. And alongside this, we hope the government will introduce additional schemes to support counties to repower their existing buses.
Yes.
By progressing both schemes in parallel, the government can serve a much wider market, delivering more carbon reductions and scale up a sustainable UK supply chain for decades to come. Typically, one of our jobs in Wrightbus supports 3 jobs in the wider economy. So it's 2,000 for Wrightbus, but it's about 8,000 across the whole of the UK. And it's these discussions that we continue to have. We sourcing from 47 counties in the UK, our parts. And I think world-class companies and world-leading companies like ours, we need the political conditions to support us against the worldwide competition.
Absolutely. I mean, I've been doing a lot of work on LinkedIn pushing for an industrial strategy. We now have the chance, I think, with Labour to get an industrial strategy, and you and the team at Wrightbus can push into that. Now, I know you and the team are all about sustainability. Tell us about the journey and also about the hydrogen-powered bus.
With pleasure. The thing is that, of course, it's also our job and my job as a CEO to make my company competitive. But we have done massive steps in the right direction on this, because our company it began in the 40s, but sadly went into administration in 2019. And it was bought out of administration by Joe Bamford, who Joe has shifted the focus then in 2019 to zero-emission buses, and since then we have gone from strength to strength. Joe is the grandson of JCB founder Joseph Bamford. He left the family business in 2019 to set up RISE, which is a hydrogen production and refueling business. And 9 months later, he took over Wrightbus, and the company was set about developing and delivering the world's first hydrogen double-decker bus, which was launched in Aberdeen in 2020. And since then, we have about 200 orders so far on hydrogen buses in the UK, London, in Dublin, in Belfast. You see them in Liverpool as well. But hydrogen has played a vital role in decarbonization, public transport. We talked a lot about electric buses, but 10% of our production is hydrogen buses and 15% next year, because it enables operators to operate over long ranges and services that run 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Provides rapid refueling. You can refuel a hydrogen bus in about 8 to 10 minutes, and that's perfectly matched for battery buses. Even with fast chargers, it's between 2 and 3 hours. And which is ideal for depot-based, but for longer distances and around-the-clock usage, you need a hydrogen bus or a coach. And this is a practical and convenient alternative to battery electric. And they alternatives in a sense, but they also very much complementary. And we're making both. And we have the most efficient electrical and hydrogen buses in the business.
And vehicle production is changing, not just in automotive, but in every vehicle. Every sense is changing. Digitalization, innovation. How are you and the team at Wrightbus keeping up with the pace of innovation needed to stay ahead of the game?
I mean, we do have a fantastic team of engineers here, and which we were growing from 120 to almost a year ago to almost 200 now. And obviously, one of the things linked to that is that we also asked the government to help educate those engineers and to make them stay in engineering and not go into finance or banking. Because expectations of passengers, customers, they have increased. Passengers using public transport now, they really want to access Wi-Fi, and every one of our buses has where you can access Wi-Fi, when you can power your devices, and you get information on journey times in the bus. But we still need to focus more on pure innovation. Our market technicians have unrivaled expertise, but we have added to our team in the last 18 months, senior hires from across the automotive world. People from Land Rover Special Vehicle Operations, BMW, McLaren. The company has become very attractive to talent. And on top of that, we have a very long-standing collaborative research relationship with Queen's University in Belfast. So Queen's University, I mean, quite a few of our PhDs come from Queen's, and they have their PhD in like mobility planning, and where we are unique against all other bus manufacturers is that we can model routes. You give us the routes, through geotabbing, and then we can exactly say what is the ideal combination of hydrogen and electrical buses, what is the ideal runtime, depending on the daytime. There's more traffic, less traffic. And that expertise, we have developed it and those systems in relationship with Queen's. And we tap into their latest research and developments. We finance PhDs, and every PhD has another 10 master students that write theses for them. So we tap into some great expertise there. And we don't stop in pure route modeling and efficiency, where we are also world class. And we try to get even better in efficiency, because the future shall be a bus that even uses less batteries. So the batteries are more efficient. But if you have loads of batteries, and we see that also in electrical cars, it's the payload goes down. You can transport less customers because the dimensions of a bus are fixed.
Yes.
So efficiency is basically the main word. Efficiency in route planning, efficiency in energy efficiency for the whole powertrain of a bus, the electrical motor, the batteries, the high voltage systems. Also efficiency on Uptime 365, which is a telematics system, which uses live GPS data and vehicle analysis, because it links into the vehicle systems to keep bus fleets at peak performance, as well as offering CO2 saving information. This system gives you effective and right on time data analysis, and can alert when a bus needs intervention, thus saving maintenance costs. It's an increased productivity, less downtime, and I'm proud to say that our buses have an uptime here of 99%, our electrical buses in London, which means that only 1% they are off-road for service or for any other incidents. And even with diesel buses, you have sometimes 3 to 4% downtime. So the buses are also very reliable, and that's what we want, because customers buying these buses as an asset, they need to stay on the road and make money for the bus company.
Absolutely. And is innovation driven by your designers, by your team, or is innovation coming from the customer and then the designers are giving the customer what they need, or a combination?
Oh, it's a combination. It's a combination, Christopher. It's the customers tell us, as always, they want longer ranges. Longer ranges means, the easy answer is, I just fit another battery pack, but then you're losing passengers. One battery pack is like 500 kilo, so you're losing 7 to 8 passengers. You're losing space in a bus, because most London buses are 10.6 meters, some are 10.2. So the customers tell us, look, but we want to drive the bus longer time, sometimes even night shifts. So we try to we do all of the analysis of the routes, and then we go into lighter materials for the bus, and we're pretty good at that. We also more efficient drivetrains, powertrains, more efficient axles, more efficient electrical motors. And there's still a lot to do there. On the hydrogen systems, where our hydrogen buses can do up to 600 kilometers on one single charge. But there we do exactly the same. So in the end, it's both are driving for innovation, both are driving for cost down, because our customer says we need parity in the future between electrical buses and diesel buses. And look, we're getting closer to that. And the same is true for hydrogen buses.
And you've had a phenomenal start to 2024. What does the rest of the year hold for you and the team?
In short, continued growth. We had a year ago, we had 300 buses on the road. Now we have over 1,000, and next year it will be 2,000 buses. So we need to work on after sales support, and that's another one of our assets. We have 70 vans on the road with multi-skilled specialists that can, if there's any issue, that can help immediately. And look, no one of our competitors comes close to the number of buses that we had on the road at the moment. There's a lot of interest in hydrogen buses here, and we see strong growth in Europe. We have expanded in Germany this year, and we continue to expand. We have orders for about 150 buses in Germany. We're delivering the first ones this year, and the first 30 this year, and the remaining ones next year. And that has been very successful. We're expanding now from Germany to France. We have just hired a key account manager for France, and then to Benelux, to serve the hydrogen market. But we will at some point also serve the electrical bus market. We do hydrogen first because there are not that many competitors that do a left-hand drive single deck hydrogen bus in Europe, and even less that do a very efficient one and a very reliable one. And look, we are expanding our personnel. We are currently at 1,800. I think that by the end of August we are 2,000. When Joe bought the company from administration, we were 56. and that growth will continue. We're obviously also looking at new power, because new power is it's a brand of Wrightbus. But it's a different segment that we are targeting here. It's diesel buses 6 to 9 years old here that can be repowered, and the advantage is that takes about 3 weeks. So the bus goes into our repower facility in Bicester in Oxfordshire, and 3 weeks later it comes out, and it has an electrical drivetrain, and that's fantastic, because the good thing about that is also that you get another 10 years life of that bus, and we give structural warranties.
Yes.
But the lovely thing is that we are using an existing asset and not use CO2 to build an additional asset. And of course, it's two different markets. One is new buses, one is repowered buses, but we are the only OEM in Europe that can offer both.
Jean-Marc, thank you for your time today. Thank you for telling me about Wrightbus, and your passion comes across and how you inspire the team. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Christopher. It was a pleasure talking to you. Thank you.
That brings us to the end of another show. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to meeting more stars of the UK manufacturing sector next week. If you would like to get in touch with the show with a comment, a suggestion, or even to appear on a future episode, please email us inquiries@mtdcnc.com. That's it, the 200th episode. What a milestone. Thank you for your continued support. It is very much appreciated. Tune in next week. We've got some exciting news about SMEFocus and some of the changes we're going to be making in the future. Thank you very again for watching. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday. So from me, Chris G at SDE, goodbye.